Son of China, son of May. Joe.
Well, PC gamers, welcome to the video, and today. Okay, your intro's done. Now what?
This is the Weeb podcast. I am the page admod and lawful neutral, the sauce boss, Zach Johnson.
No, actually, the non-lawful but still very orderly admin of the Christian Weebs Club on Facebook. I'm known in these parts as Cyclist D4 legally. And today we have a third partner in crime into our online internet debauchery, welcoming Song Eternal. Welcome to the podcast, my friend.
Thank you. The epitome of chaotic good here in person in the flesh.
Oh, yes, the anti-mod himself.
Okay, well, friends, it's been some time. We've gone through a new year. We finally all escaped 2020 alive, at least on the outside. Things are not looking that much better, though, so we're just sticking it out and seeing what happens and keeping our pants on for as long as we can manage.
2020 part 2.
Oh, dang it.
2020 part 2, let's go!
Things can't get much worse, so that's positive,
I got my Mad Max gear already set to go.
Famous last words right there, my friend.
This can't get much worse.
Hey, if I die, I will be an excellent source of loot for whoever will succeed in the world.
Those are also famous last words.
I'm hitting all the red flags as possible. I'm trying to hit so many red flags that they just cancel each other out.
Yeah, because that always works. Anyway, we got
I'm getting too old for this.
I'm too old for this. I've been too old for this since I was 10.
Hey,
anyway.
Whoa. Don't you start the ageism around here, bro?
Hey, if you can't be ageist against yourself, you don't have a right to be ageist at
all. Aren't you younger than I am? I can't remember.
I'm 32.
Oh, I'm joking. I was joking. I am not older than you.
I turned 28 in 12 days.
Oh, you're younger than me.
Well, dang.
Let's go, kid. What's up? I'm just kidding.
Now, finally, we can get another big brother in the room. So, in lieu of the typical things that we go along here, the demand for the reading and viewing selections in the group seems to have been waning, and it takes a lot more time and energy out of my day than I'm willing to give up for what little response we get. So instead, we're just going to go over some recommendations of some recent new releases in Weebland. The one that I decided to bring up that's been on my watch list for some time, and I'm probably going to start pretty soon, is a really popular one. It's titled Jujutsu Kaisen. Now, this is actually, I just found this out right now. It's the name translated to English means sorcery fight, interestingly enough. But the reason why this seems to be getting a lot of attention is that the author of My Hero Academia has personally endorsed it as the next big thing in shonen entertainment. And that's a lot of praise coming from the author of what is currently the biggest thing in shonen entertainment right now. So that's definitely something to look out for. Now, according to the synopsis that I was able to pull up, idly indulging in baseless paranormal activities with the occult club, high schooler Yuji Itadori spends his days at either the club room or the hospital, where he visits his bedridden grandfather. However, this leisurely lifestyle soon takes a turn for the strange when he unknowingly encounters a cursed item. Triggering a chain of supernatural occurrences, Yuji finds himself suddenly thrust into the world of curses. Dreadful beings formed from human malice and negativity. After swallowing the said item, revealed to be a finger belonging to the demon Sukuna Ryomen, Yubi, the king of curses. Yuji experiences firsthand the threat these curses pose to society as he discovers his own newfound powers. Introduced to the Tokyo Metropolitan Jujutsu Technical High School, he begins to walk down a path from which he cannot return, the path of a Jujutsu sorcerer. Yeah. So it had some of the elements of an isekai in there, it sounds like. Or maybe a reverse isekai where the other world is coming to him rather than he going to it.
So, let me get this straight. I might have misheard it. He swallows a demon finger?
If I get that, yes. Yeah, he swallows a finger belonging to the demon Sukuna Ryomen, the king of curses.
Okay, seems legit. Happens every day.
I don't think even Korone would do that.
I mean, there was that one incident way back when with the finger in the Wendy's chili.
What?
Which actually turned out to be fake. That finger was planted by the customer.
Oh, okay.
Gross. So yeah, Yubi.
The question is, does he know he swallowed the demon finger, or does he just like wake up one day and he's a sorcerer? Yay!
It doesn't say accidentally.
That's even worse.
It doesn't say it was by accident, so I'm going to have to.
He steals his demon finger from the magical classroom that's locked up in his school, and is just like the teacher confronts him, and he's like, "Oh, I gotta get rid of this thing," so he just eats it. That's what every kid does, right?
Right. Who doesn't? I mean, that's what I did. Wait, did I just indict myself again?
What is the state of it? Is it fresh? Is it embalmed?
Oh.
These are the consequences.
Did you get a chance to put a little Hoshin sauce on it?
Oh, yum sauce on it. It'll taste just fine. Goes down smooth. This is getting weird.
He only eats the finger with a raw egg.
Oh, God.
He's trying to dull the taste.
What kind of breading do you use on that?
Katsu breading, for sure.
Pure flour.
Matcha flavor. These are the questions that you answer by watching the show, okay?
Well, I'm sorry. I'm trying to generate content because I haven't watched it yet.
Yeah, neither have I. And at this point, now I'm a little low, but thanks a lot. Okay.
I think we can replace the MC with Hato Akai, and the story would be exactly the same.
Okay. How?
Don't know the reference.
Have you ever seen Hachima cooking?
No.
Girl eats a tarantula on ramen.
Disgusting.
Tasted good to her.
Cricket chirp.
I mean, it's like I've eaten crickets and scorpion. Scorpion tastes like it tastes like a combination of chicken and salty chocolate.
Oh, so we have the question of yes, we can, but has anyone asked the question of should we?
The question is always.
Should we?
The question is always why not?
Yeah, see, that's the wrong answer.
But even saying that is like there are perfectly valid answers for that.
Yes, exactly.
If you're starving.
If your only answer is why not, then that's a good reason why not.
Why not is the question. Sometimes there are answers for that, sometimes there are not.
Sometimes why not becomes what is wrong with you.
Exactly.
Well, in my case, the question is always everything.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, let's move on to the next show before this gets even weirder. The next on my recommended, this is on Netflix, and it's actually gone into a second season, if I'm not mistaken.
Already?
This is Great Pretender. I've heard people compare this to other titles that I cannot recall to mind right now. But as
I've seen, it looks like a no game, no life kind of thing.
Not quite, from what I gather. I think some people compared it to the live-action TV show Scrubs, or no, not Scrubs. It was something else.
The Amazing Race?
No, I'm sure if you gave me some time, I could probably realize what it was. But
we'll wait, Tyrone. No pressure.
Okay, yeah, there is pressure now. That means all the pressure. And then some you didn't even know was there. That's how much pressure you got now, friend.
Mm-hmm.
At least that's what happens at 7 Qs.
Yes. Actually, 7 Qs is impossible. It only goes up to 6.
No, you don't.
I should know. My stand power is to manipulate Q levels.
Yeah, but you haven't met my family.
Have they reached what
a Q is?
A Q is one measure of Q is one level of abstraction away from a particular situation.
The more Qs there are, the more surreal things get.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. From my stand, mutilated lips manipulates QA levels.
So what you're saying is you have a perpetual high of LSD.
That's a very good way to look at it.
So
In fact,
I can turn it on and off at will. The danger to it is that when I activate my stand, I myself am caught within its influence. If I go too far, it's harder for me to get back.
So you don't get out of it until you get exhausted.
It's even if I'm exhausted,
like legit drug crash.
If I go far enough, exhaustion doesn't even mean anything.
Drogas.
Anyway, Great Pretender.
Yeah, that was. I think it was a great anime. Second season, you said, is coming up.
Yeah.
How far away was it from the first season?
Let's see the synopsis.
For love's sake, I finally found the area where I'm supposed to be, and I still can't find what I'm looking for. This entire podcast is going over like gangbusters right now. Look at us.
So, can I talk about Horimiya while you're looking for the thing you need?
Now click off the banner. Go ahead.
Horimiya. It's a recent adaptation that released, I think 1 or 2 weeks ago. It's an adaptation of a manga that I've been following for a few years now. The manga itself has been out for about 10 years or so. The synopsis: although admired at school for her amiability and academic prowess, high school student Kyoko Hori has been hiding another side of her. With her parents often away from home due to work, Hori has to look after her younger brother and do the housework, leaving no chance to socialize away from school. Meanwhile, Izumi Miyamura is seen as a brooding, glasses-wearing otaku. However, in reality, he is a gentle person inept at studying. Furthermore, he has 9 piercings hidden behind his long hair and a tattoo along his back and left shoulder. By sheer chance, Hori and Miyamura cross paths outside of school, neither looking as the other expects. These seemingly polar opposites become friends, sharing with each other a side they have never shown to anyone else.
Okay, so it's a romantic comedy, I take it?
Very much so, yes. And it is
It
is one of my favorites. The relationship that Hori and Miyamura have is superb. It tickles all of my romance bones. Which is my ribs, actually.
And to rehash, was it a manhwa, a manga, or anime?
It's an anime adaptation of a manga, which used to be a Japanese webcomic, and then it got serialized. And there's also a lot of side characters, and they have their own thing as well. The manga for the longest time has been just doing the side characters and stuff like that. And the part that's troubling about that is that without seeing the hair colors in the manga, a lot of the side characters look the same.
They do. I notice. They do.
I hope
They took some creative prowess there, I noticed.
I mean, what can you do when you have Japanese school code getting in the way of your creativity?
That's kind of the reason why they take those kinds of creative liberties in the anime art style. You know, if they did things realistically, people would be hard to tell apart.
Yeah. Anyway, it's I freaking love the relationship that develops between Miyamura and Hori. Even beyond the initial kind of gap between their school life and their home life. There's little tiny quirks about it. Hori is a tsundere done right. And this is coming from somebody who absolutely adores the character Taiga Aisaka from Toradora. Hori does tsundere even better than Taiga to a degree.
So you're saying they're more aggressive than average, or they're more conciliatory than average? Better is relative to your opinion of what's good about a tsundere.
Let's see. It has a more natural back and forth.
So you mean she's not just a tsundere because reasons, she's an actual person?
Yeah, like there's one where there's a chapter in the manga, kind of like from Miyamoto's perspective about being with Horty, and sometimes she'll like come up and hug from behind, but if he tries to turn around, she gets angry at him.
That's impressive.
Yeah. and plus, like from like certain like implications in like she has a masochistic side. She likes the role play of like being yelled at, and sometimes like asked to get rough.
I don't like where this is going.
So what you're saying is she steps on Legos sometimes.
No, I mean like it's like I'm pretty sure I've shared this in the group before. Like one page of the manga is like a colored page where she actually asks Miyamura to like hit her, and of course like him being like a decent person, he's just like, I don't want to do this. He like raises his hand, and she gets like she gets all excited, and then he's just like head pat. Yeah. It's it's a lot of fun. It's super cute, and there's progress, which is always a good thing. I hate the rom-coms that take like 200 chapters and freaking nothing happens.
Mm-hmm. I get what you mean.
It's like hijinks are one thing, but like I need something to show for it.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, but see, if there's progress, then the authors have to actually put effort into advancing a relationship. I don't think you know what's going on here.
It's like the story doesn't have to end at the confession. Clannad After Story has proved this. Golden Time has proved this.
Okay, then. I guess you'll stage that at the next riot. Now, Great Pretender, yeah. And wait a minute, we got a Flebin. Oh, snap! We got one of our local degenerates back into the comments. Yeah. Hey, what's going on, bro? It's good. Good to see you again.
What's up, D-Gen?
He's a regular at the Christian Weaves Club. Fritz. He goes by the name Fritz. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, he likes to hang around and comment, so I'll make sure to keep him in the loop. But anyway, finally, Great Pretender. I found out the live action show that it could be comparable to Leverage. That people who have seen the show said if you've seen the show Leverage, then Great Pretender is similar to that. According to the synopsis I could find, a series of unfortunate events has led Makoto and Amame and Amura to adopt the life of crime, pickpocketing, and scamming others for a living. I said living. That word is living. I know how to read. However, after swindling a seemingly clueless tourist, Makoto discovers that he was the one tricked, and to make matters worse, the police are now after him. While making his escape, he runs into the tourist once again, who turns out to be a fellow con man named Lawrence Thierry, and ends up following him to Los Angeles. In an attempt to defend his proclaimed title of Japan's greatest swindler, Makoto challenges his rival to determine the better scammer. Accepting the competition, Lawrence drops them off outside a huge mansion and claims that their target will be the biggest mafia boss on the West Coast. Jumping from city to city, Great Pretender follows the endeavors of Makoto alongside the cunning Lawrence and his colorful associates in the world of international high-stakes fraud. Soon, Makoto realizes that he's got more than what he bargained for, as his self-declared skills are continually put to the test. So it's kind of an honor among thieves comedy drama. Like I said, this one's exclusively on Netflix. I believe Netflix got the exclusive distribution rights to this one.
So which episode has the Ponzi scheme?
We don't know. No, I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of the episodes are modeled after actual real-life crimes or scams in history. That would be pretty.
What if it's modeled after that one movie or show? What was it called? Yeah, Leverage.
Yes. I'm glad you remember that faster than I did. Oh man.
So I think I remember seeing a clip of it where the main character goes to America and the English was something.
Okay. that sounds more like a warning than a comment. Okay. Before we get into our final recommendation, our resident degenerate Fritz has a question. Any anime-based resolutions either of you have in mind?
Anime-based resolutions.
Mm-hmm. Well, besides more of the things that are on my watch list, which is every weeb's resolution, is actually watch the things on your backlog.
I think for me, it's a little bit more condensed than that. I just want to finish some of the series that I started.
Anybody want to get ripped like Goku?
No, just there's Misfit Demon Academy and what was it, like the one where it was that one anime where like a group of like 4 girls takes a journey to Antarctica.
Oh yeah, what was that? Didn't that win like best anime of the year from Crunchyroll?
Something like that, like something to the end of the world or something.
Yeah, something like that. I remember. Well, that reminds me. The next time we get on this, we're probably going to be having to talk about the Crunchyroll awards. But yeah,
boy.
Yeah, boy.
I mean the My Hero Academia awards.
I'd rather not bring that one up. Okay, so that's The Great Pretender. So let's get on to the next one, the final one. That is, I'm going to leave this up to you, Zach. The Horizon.
The Horizon. Okay, this one is something that I came across like shortly after the last podcast. It's only 21 chapters. It's a manhwa, actually, so it's a Korean manga. So synopsis: two children unexpectedly meet in the midst of war. After running away from the chaos, they come across a long, empty road. With no adults to rely on, the 2 strangers, now become friends, walk alongside each other to see what's at the end of the road. All they hope is to keep being able to move forward. Just what kind of trials and tragedy awaits them during their journey for survival. So this one I really wanted to talk about because, like, one, I'm kind of like a sucker for tragedy. And 2, what really like blew me away was at the end of it, it actually has like a really big like Christian like twist to it. So with spoiling at the least amount as possible, because I really want people to like go into this and experience it. The first 2/3 of the story is like tragedy and depravity and all of this like crazy horrible stuff these kids have to go through. And then at the 3rd act, the main character is an old man, and it kind of goes through this like redemptive story, and with like indicated by none of the words, but only through like imagery in the story, that it alludes to the idea that the main character kind of had his like redemption through Christ.
All right, that sounds interesting.
It's really good. It's hard to read, especially for like the first 2 acts, but like the 3rd act makes it all worth it.
All right. Yeah, I may have to take a look at that. It's only 3 volumes long. I may have to get into that one. It sounds actually really good.
It has very minimal like dialogue and narration. So much of it is told through just imagery alone. Like one of it, like at one point, it's just like I think it's like 3-5 pages of just like the same 4 panels because it was just that much of a moment. And it's almost like a mercy. It's almost like a mercy to just kind of like leave you with the reality of what happened. and to just like gives you time to deal with it.
All right. Well, one of my favorite manga personally is a little one called Gon, which is a completely wordless manga about a little dinosaur trekking through modern pre-civilization history. And yeah, if it can tell that much without dialogue, I'm definitely game.
Mm-hmm.
So that's that. Okay, so we only got one really big bit of news, which is also going to be a bit of a promotion. But my friends, Romans, countrymen, lend me your ears. We have our first Christian English-speaking VTuber. This has come to light, to my attention, just about within the last week. But she goes by the Twitch handle Prayers from Abigail. I believe the character's name is Abigail Dovely. And she likes to like put on like this demure Catholic schoolgirl affectation, and she does things like in addition to doing this typical Twitch thing of streaming gameplay, she does legit Bible studies on her Twitch channel. I actually have her about page on her Twitch pulled up. She says, "Salutations. I am a sister whose ministry has brought her to the internet. I am not super up to date on a lot of modern internet culture, so please be patient with me. I am a variety stream to the biggest extent, so expect to see many things from my streams. God bless you." She, as of the time of this recording, has 1.7 thousand followers, which is quite a lot for an upstart of her caliber. That's nothing to sneeze at. That's a lot. And
she likes puns. I can prove it.
Likes puns.
I made her crack up on stream by making a comment in the chat saying, "I once made holy water by boiling the heck out of it."
Yes.
Son of my soul leaving my body.
Yeah. With it.
Yes, suffer.
But yeah, I think the last game I saw her stream was Phasmagoria.
I saw her play Putt Putt, which is really nice.
Those old point and click adventure games I used to play in the library.
Freaking love Humongous Entertainment.
Oh,
Pajama Sam was the jam.
Okay. We got another comment from the Fritz. He says for manga recommendations, he recommends Beat Stars. Okay, furry. It is furry stuff, but it's
okay.
Hey, yeah. That's my domain right there.
Yeah, I'm sure it is.
Yeah, you can reel it. You can have the entire thing.
Exactly, all of it. Take it.
Yes, more for me.
Exactly.
I get off the train at Fox Girls and I'm done there.
Exactly. Oh goodness, not even late game.
Doors just slammed shut right after Fox Girls get on.
That's exactly right. But yeah, that one's been adapted into an anime on Netflix that's gained some ground in certain circles that I choose not to associate with. So thank you for that, Fritz.
Also, BNA, brand new animal made by the Studio Trigger.
Yeah. But seriously, Abigail Dovely, if you're listening to this, we'd love to speak with you. Please keep us in the loop. Yeah, and if that's like I said, that's a Twitch handle right there. You can search for it on Twitch and pull up her stream anytime you wish right there. Definitely.
She also has a YouTube channel.
Yes, and she now has a YouTube channel. That's a fairly recent thing.
Is it called the same thing? Because if you want to plug it, also plug it properly. Is it called the same thing?
Yes.
Okay, so make sure.
Yes. Prayers from Abigail. Same deal.
So yes, Thirsty Shrimps follow Prayers from Abigail. It's good for you.
It's good for you. In Jesus' name.
Yes, in Jesus' name, and Dom Espiritu Sanctu if you're Catholic, but whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to say a recent meme regarding that, but it's like I'm indoors and I don't want to have to spit on the floor.
You dare.
Imagine. Actually, I want you to spit on your floor, so you have to give us this meme now.
All right. In the name of Jesus, amen, and all women.
No. Oh no!
Thank you for doing that for us. It was very enlightening, sir. Now, please do not ever raise your hand again. No,
okay, you know what, Abigail?
You got this upon yourself. I didn't want to say it.
Actually, I just wanted you to put it on your floor. I didn't care what came out of your mouth at that point.
Oh man, I'm gonna clean it now.
Okay. God, I just lost all my trains of thought. Like they all.
You
Anime news.
here, which means everything is going to be derailed.
Yeah.
Unless you're talking about Bleach, in which case, or Clone Wars, then I'll have a really long conversation. Or Code Vein.
Another little tidbit of anime news, also regarding VTubers. There is now an extension app that allows live translations in the chats of HoloLive streams to be separated into their own box, so that you can keep up what's going on in the stream.
It translates what the person is saying, or what the commenter is saying.
There are translators in the chat that kind of type up what they're saying as fast as possible.
Okay.
It's not like closed captioning kind of thing, but it just takes those translated comments and separates them into their own box.
That sounds pretty cool, though.
Mm-hmm. So the app is called. Let's see. Let me bring it up right here. It's called LiveTL.
So
you can download it at any time in the Apple App Store or the Google Play Store.
You kind of glazed over it. Is the translation being provided by people or a computer?
Yes, there are people in the chat providing translators.
Okay.
Translations.
So what you're saying is if you install this plugin, you'll get your very own human being to sit in a box and translate everything you say.
Yeah.
Wow.
I believe volunteer it's a volunteer thing, much like fan translation of manga.
Okay.
Yeah. There's just people that are you just got some polyglots in the chat translating for everyone else.
Live. It's really cool.
Mm-hmm.
That they can stick on for a while. That'll definitely be helpful because I would love to watch Corone's chats without completely wondering everything what she's talking about. I mean, my grasp of Japanese is very, very tenuous. I'm still working on that, but still, it would be nice to get into a little bit more in-depth insight into what she's talking about live. So thank you, Internet. All right, so are we all ready to get into the meat and potatoes of this episode now?
Yes, the first savior of anime.
Yeah, we'll call it that.
Praise be the Studio Trigger.
Okay, well, this title
for today.
Son of Father Gynax.
Yeah, Kill a Kill is the title of the piece.
Not be confused with the infinitely superior Akame got killed, which, by the way, I'm plugging it. You should watch it. It's amazing. It's very realistic.
Oh, yeah.
Game of Thrones, you don't get attached to any characters.
Yeah.
If you like a character, I feel sorry for you.
Yes. But let's say it's very true to real life.
All right, cool.
Oh, yeah, so Kill a Kill. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, Kill a Kill, the synopsis I was able to pull up. After the murder of her father, Yuko Matoi has been wandering the land in search of his killer. Following her only lead, the missing half of his invention, the scissor blade, she arrives at the prestigious Honoiji Academy, a high school unlike any other. The academy is ruled by the imposing and cold-hearted student council president, Satsuki Kyurien, alongside her powerful underlings, the Elite Four. In the school's brutally competitive hierarchy, Satsuki bestows upon those at the top special clothes called Goku uniforms, which grant the wearer unique superhuman abilities. Thoroughly beaten in a fight against one of the students in uniform, Ryuko retreats to her raised home, where she stumbles across Senketsu, a rare and sentient kamui, or god clothes. After coming into contact with Ryuko's blood, Senketsu awakens, latching onto her and providing her with immense power. Now armed with Senketsu and the Scissor Blade, Ryuko makes a stand against the Elite Four, hoping to reach Satsuki and uncover the culprit behind her father's murder once and for all. So yeah, that's at least how the story starts off, but it blossoms into a much, much grander scale space opera in a way by the time it gets to the end credits.
It's very much like by the beats for Studio Trigger, especially if you've seen its counterpart Gurren Lagann. Whereas Gurren Lagann tells the tale of a man's coming of age. Kill la Kill University tells of a girl's coming of age,
Mm-hmm.
and then the successor to that, Darling in the Franxx. The way I see that is a tale of a boy and a girl coming of age, like in a relationship.
Yeah, that could be said. That could definitely be said. It seems to be arranged in that way.
Mm-hmm. Although, what comes next?
Yeah.
Death.
Taxes. Divorce, alimony. Misery.
I mean,
So starting this thing off, yeah, it's definitely trigger at its triggeriest, if that's a word. Well, it is now because I said it.
Yeah.
It's definitely extremely over the top. The production values in this show is, like I said, some of the best that Trigger's done since Fully Cooley, I would say.
keep in mind too is like Trigger is not really known for having very large budgets. You can definitely tell where they cut corners in the animation, but they really do well in saving up for that Sakuga.
Yes, of course. Yes, and they really put all their focus on the Sakuga. And when they do the Sakuga, it's extremely unconventional. It's like they treat their character size relationships the same way that Five Guys treats its fries cup. It's like it's just a professional courtesy in a way that can be done away with at a moment's notice for as the situation may demand. Because certain characters that are supposed to be of a particular height, they can literally envelop an entire room or have to squeeze through a door frame just for the gag. You know,
I mean, that's the opening scene right there.
Yeah, just for the gag.
Like Gamagori, like one of the Elite Four, head of the disciplinary committee, just like kicks in a door. His foot's the size of the entire door. He just goes through the door like a clown leaving its car.
Yeah.
And leans over, towering over the teacher.
Yes. And this is the student council, remind you. And they operate like Stalin's Soviet Union.
So it's more akin to I believe like the Third Reich fascism. I mean, they are not subtle about it at all. I mean, even the lesson that's being the lesson that the teacher in the beginning is talking about is like the Third Reich rise to power.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, it doesn't even make any excuses for that. I was thinking very Mussolini with Satsuki in particular, but yeah, that can definitely be, that argument can also be made.
It definitely has a lot to say about like authoritarianism.
Yes. In a lot of ways, both, nationally and personally, because there's a bit of an Oedipal mother complex that turns up in the later arcs of the show.
Ooh.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, so I guess let's see where to start with this.
Well, we can touch upon the character of Ryuko herself.
Oh yeah, she's very much like that one character that is like coming of age, much like Simone in Gurren Lagann is the character that is the coming of age and is influenced by the characters around him and the situations. Ryuko is like Simone, only like not at all as beta as Simone is in the beginning. Like she's a delinquent.
Okay. When she first appeared, she was kind of introduced in the way that like a stranger in a Western is introduced.
Yeah, pretty much.
The wandering weapons bearer with a strange weapon coming into town for the first time, looking for some strange target, and it just happens to be like the sheriff of the town in a way. Yeah. Yes, it definitely rang to me like a Western or a Kurosawa samurai film, which digging into my film nerd background, Japanese samurai films and American Westerns have a lot of parallels and overlaps that may be disquieting to some. But yeah, Ryuko definitely rings with that kind of vibe when she gets first introduced. It's like, wait a minute, this is a Western. I expect like saloon doors to be swinging at some point. And I
Like
think,
even makes a reference to Fooly Cooly when she bites into a lemon.
mm,
And of course, like Fooly Cooly is like, yeah, she had to know the creator's like very like unique and individual quirks to understand that.
mm,
Anyway, yeah, it's like Ryoko is like from the very beginning, like just kind of like she shows up. She like shows up in town like and just almost immediately starts shaking things up.
yeah. That's what she comes to do. And yeah, she shows absolutely no care or concern for authority, no care or concern for the established order, disregards every single standard of decorum there is.
And yet is obligated to fulfill the final wishes of her father, who she was not on good terms with at all.
No, she wasn't.
So like it's kind of weird for her to be that disregarding of authority, and yet like her whole like motivation is like comes from like the wishes of essentially an authority figure.
Yeah, it is very tenuous. How would you say that her development arc carries out? Because I don't know.
I'd say that it's very much it's very much dependent on Satsuki.
Yes.
Very much dependent on Satsuki as like she's Ryuko's like foil, basically, her polar opposite.
Yes.
And like both of them like develop off of each other. And of course there's also Mako.
Yes.
It's like, I love her hallelujah monologues.
Oh yes. Mako almost choke. The comic relief of the story, but also like the aggravating little sister to Ryuko in a way. Yeah, I know she was
comic relief as she is, like she's Ryoko's anchor.
Yeah, to reality.
And as it like over the course of the story, let's say about like at around a little way past the halfway point, you actually found out that Satsuki is part of the rebellion. Her mom is leader of like the monopoly on the clothing world, and is subservient to this alien being, which is like the source of the life threads which power these which powers the uniforms.
Yes.
And the life thread like came to Earth and then directed human evolution to be suited for basically consumption of the life fibers. It's like it reminded me a lot of Dead Space.
I guess you could say that. Yeah.
Dead Space, the goal for the necromorphs or the markers, and the goal for the source of the life fibers is pretty much the same. Find a malleable species, guide its development for being consumed by the source, turn all of humanity into like the fully like workable material for the life fiber. Is it's like having humans consumed by clothes. For necromorphs, it's turning everyone into biomass. Consumes the entire planet, makes it a dead planet, and then it is a little bit divergent. In Dead Space, the planet is just kind of like becomes its own like giant entity and like drifts around space with all the other dead planets.
Yep.
That's why it's called Dead Space. But for the life fibers, the life fibers like cocoon the entire world and then explode, and all like the little fibers drift off in all directions across the universe, and the cycle begins anew.
The space virus.
Yeah. But the Satsuki and Ryuko's mom, yes, they're sisters. Spoiler. He's like, let's disregard all spoilers. They're going full into this.
This is a spoiler talk, in case anybody was wondering.
So
all of our viewers leave.
So, as it turns out, Satsuki was actually leading her own resistance from the inside.
A double agent.
Yeah. But like in the process of like getting everything right, she had to wipe out another resistance called Nudist Beach, started by Ryuko's dad.
Yes.
Or both their dads.
Mm-hmm.
So let's see what else. But yeah, it's a one thing. It's like, so in preparing for this, I kind of like looked around for like some commentary and stuff like that. I remember seeing one.
Go ahead.
I like labored to listen to the whole thing because it was very politically biased. But I'm sitting through it and I'm just like, okay, you're not wrong, but like but there's a really big gap in your review. And a lot of it was the idea of like authoritarianism or tyranny, and it's like a lot of people of a certain political persuasion will tell you that like if there's any part of like society or system that's tyrannical, that means the entire thing is fundamentally tyrannical.
Right.
Well, it's like, well, the answer I have to that is, well, yes and no. It's like anytime you have like an authority, there is a tyrannical force behind it, but and it's a really big but. There was also a reason to have that system in the first place, and of course, that is safety. It's and
sure.
And of course, there has to be a balance between like the amount of safety to be comfortable and a tolerable amount of tyranny. That's the thing. You can't have a society completely purged of tyranny. There has to be like a hierarchy. There has to be a structure, and whenever there's a structure, there are things that you can't do.
Right.
There has to be an agreement between the people in a society that say like, okay, yeah, we'll keep these restrictions because what we end up getting when we don't have this society is a lot worse than like me not being able to do just as one thing.
Yeah, I just start running around and start randomly punching people in the face because I think it's funny.
Right. Yeah, that's kind of misunderstanding.
And of course, there does come a time when the tyrannical aspect overshadows the safety aspect, and like the best way to tell that is when like the tyrannical aspect actually starts harming the people that it's supposed to protect. In which case, like there needs to be a shift, there needs to be a change, there needs to be a reform.
Yeah.
And like to that commentary though that was talking about like it's like, oh, it's just like the commentary I was watching was just like, oh, it's like clothes are ways that people distinguish themselves in like hierarchy, or distinguish themselves like by gender. It's it's the representation and the establishment and the perpetuation of barriers, and just like, well, yes, barriers are good when they serve their proper purpose.
Right.
But at the same time, it's like, and if I was in open dialogue with this person, I would have brought this up at the end of Kill la Kill.
Yes.
And I've heard it even mentioned like leading up to before the end.
Yes.
The people there still want to wear clothes.
Yeah, they want to.
They just don't want to wear clothes with the life fibers in them.
Right.
So like it's not the clothing themselves that are bad, it's how they have been used.
Right.
It's like, and even though the life fibers like tailored their development like they don't want to return to monkey.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. That meme.
They just want to, they want to get rid of the bad part of it, but they don't want to throw the baby out with the bathwater.
Exactly.
And that's what I found what was like missing from that whole like commentary that I listened to on the show.
But did you leave an angry comment in the YouTube section?
I left a snarky comment in the YouTube section.
Okay, good.
That's something. That's how we know.
I left a snarky comment about him saying about because he used the word supposedly when talking about the biological difference between men and women. and the guy said that like the humans are like the least gender dimorphism of like most other animals, and I'm like, it's like I can't tell at a glance if a cat is male or female. And it's like, and the guy even showed like a cross section like diagram, like left half male, right half female, like like anatomy, and I'm just like, there's clear differences right there.
Right, in human,
like
you can even tell from skeletal remains whether or not they were male or female.
Yeah, and it's like on average, you can tell the gender of a human just by glancing at them. Mm-hmm. On average, there are some examples, there are some exceptions and stuff like that, but like for the most part, for the majority, you can tell just by looking, and that's because we have that strong of a dimorphism. It's like there are biological differences, like there are also social differences, but like it just can't deny that there's
differences.
Like, differences.
Yeah, innate differences of various sorts.
I mean, like, if gender is just a social construct, why do trans people take hormones?
Yeah, we're not.
Taking hormones isn't admittance that there's a biological element.
Well, the funny thing is, at least in episode 24, Kill la Kill does end with the entire protagonist team just nude in their position of victory. Which is kind of funny,
it's like a mark of defiance and victory because their enemy was clothes.
Right, at that time, At the same time, there is something to be said about, the Hellenistic art principle of heroic nudity that was so commonplace in that time period. You see a lot of statues of like Greek heroes and they're completely nude, and that was what it was called at the time, heroic nudity.
Especially in the first arc, when Ryuko was getting used to Senketsu, Satsuki got a kamui of her own named Junketsu.
Junketsu, yes.
And like at first, just like she was owning it, like it's like if I have goals, I don't care what people think of me. I can wear nothing. It's like if it meant that I had to wear absolutely nothing, be completely naked to reach my goals, that's what I'm going to do. And it's like, what about you? You're distracted by your own shame.
I just want to point out that since we started talking about nudity, we gained like 3 to 5 degenerates.
Yeah. Same song. So I did find that to be an interesting catalyst to the structure of the story. It is true that human beings are the only creatures on Earth that wear clothes. No other animal on the planet does that. And
the reason for that is, right?
Turtles do.
It's like, of course, it's because the fruit of knowledge, but like what that means is, so like we ate the Adam and Eve ate the fruit of knowledge of good and evil. What that did was it made them awake. They realized that they were naked. When you realize that you were naked, you realize that you are vulnerable. You realize that you are vulnerable, you know how you can be hurt. If you know how you can be hurt, you know how you can hurt others. That's the knowledge of evil. But in the same breath, you also know how you can prevent or mitigate yourself or other people from getting hurt. Knowledge of good. And so we cover ourselves to hide our vulnerabilities because they are real and they can be exploited.
Right. You know, that's the whole point. That is the long and short of it. Yes, and it's really interesting when I see dramas like just take that something that's unique to the human race exclusively and make an entire drama out of that. Like if I play a lot of, I'm a pretty serious gamer, and one of my favorite game franchises is anything from FromSoft, whether it be Dark Souls, Bloodborne, Sekiro, and a common thematic element in those games is mankind's unique relationship to fire. Like you see that all throughout them. In Dark Souls, especially, mankind's relationship to fire is the whole meat of the drama there and the lore. In Bloodborne, same deal.
It's blood and insight.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, blood and insight, but still the unique relationship to fire is also there. Because typically animals instinctively stay away from fire, but we don't. Like we're almost compelled by it, attracted to it, want to see how to harness it and make it work for us. But in that way, the fact that they were able to make Kill la Kill was able to make a drama out of humanity's unique relationship to clothing, and it work on so many levels in a mature fashion, in a genuinely mature and sophisticated fashion, and yet still be off the wall bonkers in so many ways.
Especially with the fan service, they do that really well because it's
not alluring. It's just comical.
It's comical, but it also like adds to like the action. Like when there's like a fight going on, like it's like you can tell when it's being fan servicey and it's funny. But when there's like the actual like fight going on, like it's like the fight is the important part. And they're not gonna like waste time making Ryuko bend her top half like 180 degrees just so she can show her butt.
Right. They're not going to do any sexy poses or anything stupid like that.
It's like, and even if it does kind of like show something, it's meant to be like a powerful stance.
Right. A powerful stance, or again, just comical. It's always one of those two.
Yeah. It's like, even like when like her Kamui is first revealed, like you see a whole bunch of guys in the audience like, woo, yeah! And it's all like, and that's just to show that like, hey, it's like harkening back to the idea of like this being an analogy of like a girl's like coming of age. It's like when a girl goes through like changes due to puberty, it's like people are going to take notice, and like it's like really not a thing that's going to that's not going to go away. Of course, you come across polite people that won't make a big deal out of it, but then you get some people that are less decent that harass you or like catcall you, whatever. But like it's just a thing that you have to deal with and own. Like know when to flaunt, know when to be modest. Like it's like and like reach a balance and like on some level not care what people think.
So you glazed over something right there. What is the main character's stand power?
Blood.
The stand power can cut and absorb life fibers, I guess.
Yeah, I guess so.
Okay.
Because she herself actually has life fibers imbued into her.
Now,
so it makes her like half human, half clothing, and Cats over the course, like in like bonding with Ryuko, also becomes like part human himself.
Right, and she's capable of human emotions and expressions.
In the transformation towards the end of her arc, does she eliminate the life fibers within herself and or her sword or her clothes, or
the sword, the scissor sword itself is actually made of hardened life fibers.
Right.
But there's like at the end, like the final battle between her mom, she actually like absorbs all of the life fibers from the people like around her that still use like Goku uniforms to fight and stuff like that. Absorbs all of them, becomes like a big old like kaiju. It's all like Ultraman stuff, and goes into space and fights her on a satellite.
Oh,
Yep.
okay. Didn't see that coming.
Nope.
Yeah, it's like, hey, it's coming from the guys that did Gurren Lagann. Of course, it's going to be a giant space battle.
Yeah.
Although it's not on the level of like using galaxies as a foothold.
No, none of that.
It's only orbital space, not big space.
Yeah. Now we really do need to talk about the ultimate villain of Ragyo Kiryuin. What's to be said about her? I made
mother.
Yeah, I made the illusions at the Oedipal mother complex with her, and yeah, what her ultimate plan was to basically get her life fibers around the entire human race and absorb them into herself through that way, or basically to take control of their essence or their being through the life fibers. And that is a pretty explicit Oedipal mother complex where she just takes complete and total ownership of the being of the human race.
Like that Pixar short where she eats the thing at the end.
Right. Bow. That's a really good short, by the way.
Yeah, Bow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's like, I don't know. I've seen like a lot of memes of like her being compared to Sho Tucker. It's like, oh, geez, Sho Tucker as your dad, and then Ragyo has your mom.
You basically want to just find a new house to live in at that point.
Who Sho Tucker was? I just looked it up. I hate you.
I still think that Bondrewd is a worse parent than both of them combined.
Okay. That's the guy from Made in Abyss, isn't it?
Yep.
Okay.
It's like in the first season of that show, like you haven't seen the half of like what he's done. It's like gotta watch the movie.
Yeah. So I think we've basically laid out everything that we could lay out regarding Kill la Kill.
Yeah, so what was our string theory?
Well, like there's a string theory. It's like I guess you could call like Ragyo kind of like a slave to fate. Because like it almost kind of seems like her motivation is like, yes, we must allow the life fibers to consume the entire human race because it's like, well, what else are we gonna do?
Yeah, it's not like we have anything better to do.
Yeah, it's like it's what we were made to do. And Ryuko and Satsuki are just kind of like, nah, I think we've got a better idea.
Yeah.
They kind of is like also like Ryuko and Satsuki also kind of like represent like the two methods of revolution. First is like out is like it's like overt rebellion and anarchy. The second is like putting on a suit and trying to change it from the inside.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
A theme that can also be found in Code Geass.
Oh, that's an interesting way to put that. I haven't finished Code Geass.
I think.
All I know is that like Lelouch is the anarchist. Meanwhile,
yeah, you're right.
His other friend, like his best friend, is like trying to change it from the inside, but like he keeps getting like swept up into it.
Literally.
I know he's always lost in that soup store.
Yeah. Looking for clothes. Oh, look at that.
Games that have no specific origin and seem to also have no specific end.
Yeah. And on that note, we're going to close the book on Kill la Kill. That was the ticker. So we're all ready for some Bible study now to close this out?
Yes, everybody's favorite book, the Book of Job.
Well, it's one of my favorite books. And also, fun trivia, it is actually the oldest writing in the Bible.
Let's see.
Can I give know that the Bible is not arranged by order of publication date? So, yeah, the earliest writing in the Old Testament is actually the Book of Job.
Yeah, to verify that, we actually had to look up the patents from the Library of Alexandria.
Yeah. That was probably from the Septuagint.
No, you won't find it in the Library of Alexandria. You'll find it in the Qumran Caves.
The what?
Qumran Caves.
I don't know what those are. I don't remember.
They're like it's like a these man-made caves, like the oldest man-made caves, like found in Israel, and they had these pots filled with scrolls, and they were like
scrolls.
The Dead Scrolls, yeah.
Okay, I didn't know the name of the caves were.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So the Book of Job. This is.
Can I get the California translation on this for brevity?
All right. So where are we going with this? What are you going to do?
It's like, since we're covering the whole book, I'll just kind of give like the TLDR version of it.
Sure.
Man named Job got jobbed. The end.
Yeah. So like angels are gathering in heaven, and like I guess like God is having a party or something.
Council meeting.
Council meeting, a party, could be both. And Satan comes up and is like, "Hey, what's it going?" He crashes the party, like that one guy that like no one invited.
Right. Sort of like Maleficent, Sleeping Beauty.
Yeah.
And God says like, "Hey, have you met my guy Job? Like this guy's really good. He's a righteous dude. Like he loves me. It's like there's nothing that can shake his faith. Like I'm very proud of him." And then Satan goes like, "Are you sure? Are you sure about that?" And it's like, "I'm pretty sure that he only likes you because you do nice things for him."
Right.
And then God's like, "All right, bet."
Because it's worth noting that the man Job was obscenely wealthy. He was a very, very wealthy man. He was like the equivalent of a multi-billionaire in today's money. This man was loaded. He had like, a dozen houses, 9 kids. They each had their own houses and plots of land. He like scores of animals of every kind. He was loaded. He was living high on the hog.
Yeah.
And
so,
Satan's suggestion is
the condition to the bet was like, okay, you do whatever you want as long as you don't touch him. And then Satan's like, all right, deal. And then he goes down and gives Job the worst day of his life.
Yeah.
Like, his land has been pillaged by marauders. Mm-hmm. His livestock is killed. His farm is razed. His kids are dead. A rogue wind blows down the house. All his kids are having a party, and it kills every single one. And the news comes to him like in these like 4 messengers, and none of them could finish their message before the other one comes, and he's just like Job like is so distraught he like tears his clothes and shaves his head, and it's just like, but like he still doesn't blame God for it. He's like God, he gave me this, and it's well within his rights to take it away.
The Lord yeeteth and the Lord yoinketh away.
I'm so proud of you, Tyrone. You actually said that.
I was going to sleep tonight.
So like God is kind of like, well, see, told you, and he's just like, no. And Satan's like, no. It's like you still haven't done anything to him. He's still in good health. He still has his wife, and it's like, okay, do what you want to him, but you can't kill him. And it's like, deal. And he gives Job like a horrible like skin disease.
Yeah.
And, like his wife is telling him just like, look, clearly God is doing you dirty. Just blame him for it. And God is like, woman, leave my. It's like, be gone, thought.
Mm-hmm. He did basically say that.
Yeah.
And then it's like, to really kind of like put the nail in the coffin for him, is like he was like kind of like living as like a vagabond, like trying to like scratch his boils with like shards of pottery.
Mm-hmm. It was not a good day for him.
Mm-hmm. It's like, and just to put the nail in the coffin, his friends come up to him and just be like, hey man, it's like bad. It's like they pretty much give him the karma argument. It's like, these bad things are happening to you because you did bad. And it's just like, all right, tell me something bad that I did. I've done nothing wrong. Mm-hmm. It's like, I've done nothing to deserve this. Mm-hmm. But here I am.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, after all of this, it's just like Job curses the day he was born.
Yeah.
He doesn't necessarily curse God. He's just like, oh man, it's like I
that he was ever born.
I just wish I didn't exist.
Mm-hmm.
Still doesn't blame God.
Nope.
And it's like after all that, after he gets mad at his friends and he does kind of like fail the test like by a little. He actually it says like he's like God, why is this happening to me? And then like God comes in the form of a storm and it's like, hey, bro, I am God. This is like were you there when I like created the earth, when I created the world from nothing?
Right.
Were you there when I set all the mechanics and all the clockwork of the universe, set it and put it in motion? No, I don't remember seeing you there. And I don't forget a face. And it's like, and it's like even more. It's like let me show you a couple things. You see this big old chonky beast over here? That's the behemoth.
Yeah.
It's like, and that is my lapdog. It's like, and this over here, this big old sea dragon, that's the Leviathan. It is completely indestructible. If you so much as sniff in the wrong direction of it, you will not forget it. Like in modern terms, it could bask in nuclear fire as if it were just a warm summer breeze. And guess what?
I keep it like a guppy.
Yep. It's like Leviathan is my B word. It's like so with all of this, with all my power and my knowledge, what do you know? And it's like by what standard? Like, do you have to stand? Do you have to stand on that's contradictory to? That's contradictory to me. It's like, and I freaking love it because it is like it's one of God's biggest flexes.
Yeah.
It's like, and it answers like it very well like answers the problem of evil, like, and it puts forth the idea called theodicy, which some hard skeptics would say like that's just an appeal to mystery, and it's just like, okay, if you don't think it's an appeal to mystery, then give me the full reason. It's like, prove that it's not an appeal to mystery by actually giving me like a reason for why these things happen. It's pretty much just the idea that like we can't know. It's like the way like human knowledge, the way that like knowledge works is that like imagine you have like a little circle. This circle. Actually, let's. Because like, we actually know quite a bit for as little and as dumb as we are. So you have a circle. And within it, it contains all of current human knowledge. Outside of that are the things that we don't know, but like we actually do know that we don't know. Outside of that are the things that we don't even know that we don't know. And infinitely outside of that are the things that we cannot know at all, completely unknowable. We can't even know that we don't know it. Just completely unknowable.
We can't.
And so when you zoom all of that out, we actually don't know much of anything at all.
What we don't know grotesquely outweighs what we do know is a better way to put it.
Or what you don't know can hurt you.
Yeah. In fact, it can kill you. Yeah. So there are a lot of takeaways that I love to take from the story of Job. One thing, especially recently in political times when I've been seeing a lot of Christians adopt ideologies of Marxism, and they seem to have a very much an eat the rich attitude about them, as though anyone who is wealthy is evil and wicked and they deserve to be brought to justice and brought under our heel. Well, you look like at Job's friends. Right, like Job's friends thought that. Well, you look at the character of Job. As I said, the guy was the equivalent of a multi-billionaire in today's money. And
not only that, but he was really upstanding.
Yeah, and God himself called him blameless and upright. Those are the exact words in the translations that I usually read. Blameless and upright. And if you...
He's everything that this person hates.
Anyone forgets the end of the story, God personally gave Job back all of his wealth and then some.
Mm-hmm.
Personally.
And gave him a new family.
Right. Everything that he had before all of this debacle, God gave him all of that and then some with interest.
Also, he told Job's friends to make a burnt sacrifice, and like at the same time have Job pray for them, because it's like with the stuff that you guys have been saying, it's like I'm not going to do anything unless Job here vouches for you.
Right. And honestly, God only knows what he had to say about his wife, because she went way off the deep end with her diatribe.
Mm-hmm.
Like, why don't you just curse God and die? Like, wow. And you're the woman I married?
Yeah. No wonder he told Thought be gone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but he gave him back. New family, new children, new property, all of it given back.
So
one thing too is that like.
Let me finish the line I was thinking of. What the takeaway from that is, you can't judge a person's character by their wealth, positively or negatively. There are a lot of good, honest, godly people out there who are extremely wealthy. There are a lot of good, honest, godly people who are quite impoverished. There are a lot of jerkwads out there who are incredibly wealthy, and there are a lot of jerkwads out there who are incredibly impoverished. You can't tell either way just by looking at their wealth, whether they are good or bad. Or
that's to Kenneth Cole.
Yeah, I know. Or to Joel Osteen. Yeah.
It's like I guess you can also find a connection between the Book of Job and the story of Cain and Abel.
Okay.
Because like Job did what Cain should have done. Instead of blaming God for his troubles, he should have looked at himself. Right.
Exactly. Like, you have everything you need to be successful. You just need to use it more effectively.
Yeah. But instead, Cain, like he didn't just kill his brother. He killed his own ideal.
Right. He killed the person that he wished he could have been.
Mm-hmm. And that's what happens. And that's what happens with resentment. Like it's like when you're resentful over something, you actually end up like destroying the things that could actually made your life good.
Yeah, exactly. And that's happened countless times all over the planet, and many times throughout history. People have done that. Whether it was, the Turks engaging in the Armenian genocide, or the decades-long civil war that happened in Sri Lanka at the latter half of the 20th century, or the massacres of the Chinese in Saigon, Thailand in 1782. I can go on and on and on and on. This is one of the oldest stories of the human race, destroying our ideal, which at an even basic archetypal level could be seen as a desire to destroy God. Like, it seems
rich. Eat the rich is a motto of Cain.
Yeah, exactly. That's the motto. That was Cain's motto: eat the rich. But yeah, I guess you could say at an even basic level, when people are destroying their ideals, what they really want to destroy is God, but they realize that they can't, so they go for the next best thing instead, hoping that will make them feel better. But of course, it doesn't.
Or at the very least, make God feel bad.
Right, exactly. And at that point, you're basically thinking like a demon. At that point, you're indistinguishable from one. At that point,
there's also a reference with like the Leviathan. Actually. Has a connection with the Enuma Elish, the Mesopotamian creation myth. Is the way that goes is, so you have Tiamat and like another god, like locked in an embrace. It's very kind of like the Greek creation myth. Locked in a sort of like in an embrace, and it creates the world, and then there's gods, their children, and in sort of like a blind, crazed, like haphazard manner, they end up killing the father god, which angers Tiamat to no end, and she goes on a rampage, and the other gods are like, oh dang, it's like we gotta stop that. And like they all try to fight Tiamat, who is basically like a chaos, sea goddess of chaos. And so like, yeah, it's like the father god was the order. It's like they killed the order in their blindness, and now the chaos is peeved. And so it's like, oh man, we got to stop the chaos. And none of them can do it. And then in comes Marduk, who is like, hey, if you make me the king of the gods, I'll go take care of Tiamat for you. And they're like, and they're kind of like, oh man, look at this sucker. Oh yeah, sure. But like with Tiamat, what made him different from the other gods is that he had two main attributes. He had eyes all around his head, and he spoke magic words. He paid attention, and he spoke the truth.
Right.
And so he goes, confronts Tiamat, throws a net over her, contains the chaos, and then chops her up into little pieces and makes the world out of it, out of her body. And at the same time, also takes the worst demon that Tiamat created, and with its blood created the human race. Like Leviathan is like, it's really hard to talk about the Bible, at least the Old Testament, without talking about Mesopotamian myth.
Yeah, they're kind of tied into each other in certain strains.
And of course, like they do clearly diverge, but like they kind of have these little crossovers. And so like Leviathan is a reference to Tiamat. It's like it's like in the face of ultimate chaos,
right?
You can't do anything but get yourself hurt. So like, and then God like shows Leviathan is like, the ultimate chaos is my B word. It's like if you're looking for a meaning to your suffering, I am the one that gives order to chaos. Right. I am the one that gives meaning to suffering.
Right.
Rest in me, and your suffering will be worth it.
Exactly.
So from a story analysis point of view, I see Job as something that is very interesting and very unique in the Bible.
Okay.
Surely looking at the story, you have a antagonist, Satan.
Yes.
You have a meta being, God, and you have a protagonist, Job, and a cast of characters who are more or less disposable. But the protagonist in this instance is not dynamic. So he does learn something, but essentially from the beginning to the end, he is an extremely lawful good person who starts off as filthy rich and ends up filthy rich. And so
pure rich.
Yeah. And so from pure story analysis, the question is, how do you truly have a protagonist in a situation where he essentially hasn't really done anything from the beginning to the end?
Right.
And the answer to that is understanding the reach of transformation of an individual or the transformation of other individuals. So in this instance, Satan goes forward haughtily to God saying, hey, I bet if you do this and this and this, Job will leave you. And God, of course, is like, yeah, sure. Okay, cool. Let's see what happens. But it's because God already understands that in this little instance, in this little game that Satan wants to play, the potential of transformation goes far beyond Job. It goes to people who know the story now, like you and I, in the future. It goes to people that Job was able to touch. It goes to the people that are around him. It goes to people that know that entire story, who may be going through a trial, maybe going through tribulation, and will be able to have hope for a future and hope that they in the future can be able to help someone else. Job in that story is not a normal protagonist because Job is a catalyst. Job is a catalyst for the transformation of the people around him and a catalyst of the people that he will influence in the future. So when we're going through our own struggles and we're going through our own problems, one thing, well, personally, one thing that actually was an encouragement to me is being able to be that catalyst to help other people and be able to use my experiences to help people outside of my zone. Because if I took the easy way out, as they wanted Job to, which is curse God and die, or in my case, suicide.
Yeah.
There are a lot of people that I would not reach. And I would say my life would have been a very short-sighted failure of my own making.
My man.
Because I was able to see a potential future, and because I was able to look outside of myself as an actual dynamic character, not just a catalyst, I was able to see, hey, I can do more than just succumb to a situation.
Yeah.
I can use this experience to help someone else. And if Job can make it, well, I'm not a Job, but I think I can maybe influence just a few people around me.
Yes. My man. I love that. I love that. That's probably the best way to stop. Nobody say anything else before you ruin it. Shut up. Okay. That was fantastic, Glenn. Really, really appreciated that. So I think that, yeah, we're just coming on our 125 mark. That's usually how long these episodes go on for. Glenn, it was really, really a pleasure having you on, man. I really hope you'll be able to join us for future episodes.
I hope to have you in the future as well on your show.
Yes. I know how you words at times things. Yes.
Yes, words are important, and we use them in speech patterns.
Those are definitely all words.
Has there ever been Forrest decided to use even go want to look more like?
Wow, that was impressive. Those were all words.
Yeah, certainly.
So next month's topic.
Yeah. Are we going to review one of these recent titles that come out? I'm leaning more towards Great Pretender right now. You think we could take a look at one of those or finish up something in the past that I never finished up, like Gurren Lagann?
For the Great Pretender, do you think that the entire series will be released by the next time we'll by the next podcast?
It already is.
What about the second season? Or is it only greenlit for a second season?
It already has been. From what I can find on my anime list.
Oh, wait, it's a Netflix, so they release the whole thing at once.
Yeah, status finish airing. So it seems like it is already available in its completion now.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm. So it was either that or another one that I've been meaning to finish for a while is Carol and Tuesday.
I heard that one kind of turned a little weird at the end.
Yeah, maybe not, but
it kind of became like a woke border issue kind of thing.
Seems so. But yeah, I would like to review something more recent. That's why I was suggesting something like Great Pretender. Because that doesn't keep making noise.
Something recent.
Yeah, like I said, Great Pretender just released last year, and it just released its second season and its final season. So it would be good to hop on that and get in our thoughts on that next month, since that's such a new release. And plus, we're already going to have the Crunchyroll Awards to talk about.
You guys are not going to talk about the latest season of Attack on Titan, guys? Come on.
That too. I still need to catch up on that. I think I'm still in the third season on that one. I have to go back to my Hulu to find out. But yeah,
chapter 81 of the manga.
Yeah. Well, it is the final season. You are right, and that is definitely something we should be talking about. So maybe the month afterwards or something. I know my sister has been talking about that one a lot on her Instagram, so she would probably be happy if I brought that one up.
Perhaps. I would still have a lot of catching up to do.
Yes, either way.
I think the manga would be finished if fourth season is the final season.
Yes, it is. The fourth season is the final season. Is the final season of Attack on Titan.
Okay, good, because where I left off on chapter 81, I think that's pretty much where the
no spoilers.
Where I think that might be pretty much where season 4 begins.
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
All right. So which one are we settling on? Great Pretender or Attack on Titan?
Attack on Titan would be a pretty big series to tackle.
It would be a lot. We may have to split that one up into 2 parts because the show itself kind of is.
Mm-hmm.
An Attack on Titan, Part 1.
Part 1, then it wouldn't be recent.
True, but it's definitely catching up to it. Actually, a friend of mine just recently put out, he has a YouTube channel where he just got 10,000 followers recently. Congratulations to him. But his catch up on Attack on Titan was the first video of his to reach over 1 million views. So, maybe still the subject of Attack on Titan is very hot right now. So that may be something we may want to address.
Yeah, sounds like some real sauce right there.
Yeah.
I guess, yeah.
All right, so we'll try and catch up on that. I have it all on Hulu, so I can definitely watch it through there. Okay, but in the meantime, folks, we're going to be bunkering down while we wait for this inauguration date to finally pass and await, the collapse of the republic. So,
Yes.
It's the beginning of the end, folks.
Hope everyone's looking forward to it. Buckle in.
Yep. But at the same time, I do now have a PS5, and I've been playing me some Demon Souls, so it's not like it's all bad.
Okay. You have
Genshin Impact.
What sorcery in Orphan Sacrifice did you have to do to get that? I cannot seem to find an ungouged PS5 anywhere.
Money.
Oh, you
That's
suckered into a gouged one?
Well, it wasn't gouged terribly. It was $750 with free shipping.
That's like almost double the price.
Not even. That's 150% of the price. A base price one is $500.
Sounds
Look, my friends, I was thinking supply and demand economics there. For $750 with no shipping, you know how much they were usually going for? $1,400.
Yeah, no, sure.
Sony really brought that upon themselves. They've always had this dumb tactic where they have limited releases of a new console so that they can brag that it was sold out. It was like, well, guess what? This is what you get.
Yeah.
Like the whole
everyone agrees that this
people,
will
people buying them up to gouge prices because of your what's the word? Because of your fake limitations.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the artificial demand created by forced scarcity. I guess you could say that. But at the same time, I was just thinking supply and demand principles, and 750 is actually kind of a steal in the current market, so I really wasn't complaining. I know Sony did a limited number of extra consoles available on their website, and that was gone within like 5 minutes. So you're like, you know what? I'm not waiting around anymore from this. I'm not going to let these scalpers loop me into their tunnels anymore. I'm going to get off of someone that I think is fair considering the current supply and demand in the markets. And I did, and I'm enjoying myself. I have no regrets. I
can't wait to see articles of suckers just like having a bunch of PS5s lying around because no one's buying them.
Oh yeah, that's going to happen sooner or later. That's what happens every time somebody scalps. My brother tells me that they do the same thing whenever a new pair of Jordan's shoes comes onto the market. They do the exact same thing. They buy them all up and scalp. Create artificial scarcity and scalp off the overhead.
Yeah, but Cycros, the thing that our audience really wants to know is, do you play Genshin Impact?
I kind of do, like at an arm's length. I haven't played in a while, but I do have it on my PC and I have played it. But at the same time, I don't want to be tempted by its gotcha mechanics.
Then just don't spend money.
Yeah, I'm thinking about that. I understand that you can still have a very enjoyable time and get a lot of the characters without spending money.
Or even better, you ask other people to donate the money for you, and then you spend their money.
I would have to stream in order to do that, and I am thinking about getting into that.
Yes,
I have sworn off gotcha games altogether.
Yes, yeah. we still love you.
I haven't. I played 2 gotcha games on my phone, and
you still play them?
Yeah, yeah, I do. I play AFK Arena. And King of Fighters All Star.
It's your fault. I'm getting flooded with these ads. Got it.
Yeah, I guess so. But then again, I have an ad blocker, so I don't.
When you can't beat a boss in Genshin Impact, that's it. I'm getting me wallet.
Exactly.
That's not what get you done. Money will get you 0 in that game.
Yeah. But honestly, I only have 2 games. I only bought 2 games for my PS5. That was the Demon Souls remake and Spider-Man Miles Morales. But the thing is, Miles Morales is also available on PS4, so I didn't really have to get PS5 for that. And I'm also told it's incredibly short.
It's a DLC.
Yeah, it feels more like a DLC than a full release. So, well, whatever. I guess I'll use that to kill time.
I know it's like people say that it's like, oh, it's bad graphics, it was rushed, and it's just like, but when you actually like, apart from like graphical glitches and stuff like that, the meat and potatoes of the game itself is really fun.
And it's just as fun as the first game, from what my brother tells me. His wife got him that for Christmas or his birthday, actually. And yeah, he tells me it was just as fun as the first game. So there's nothing to sneeze at.
And it came out 50 years earlier than it's supposed to. So is that?
Yeah, I guess so. So the moral of the story is, if you have a PS5, you need to follow the
2 years until Johnny Ironhand destroys Arasaka Tower.
Will you shut up?
There's some spoilers, sir. That ends in a strike. So please do not accumulate any more strikes.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Okay. Can we please say goodbye to the viewers now before they continue listening to us?
Something I didn't hear what you said.
What?
What? I was literally saying what you asked me to say.
Okay.
Gosh. Oh, sheesh.
Oh, well then I should stop the episode, shouldn't I?
Bye, guys.
Pretend there's an end title screen.
Yeah. Ugh. I need to find a new line of work. My agent is so fired.